Meta to ban news content on Facebook and Instagram with Bill C-18 set to become law. I don't think the blackface liberals, including Pablo there, anticipated this, did they, Drea?
No, they wanted to, strong arm them into bending. I guess they're tired of funding the news. They think they need more, so they wanted to kind of make Meta. Also, of course, that's Instagram. And I guess this applies to all basically social media, pay to feature the news, which is something that any news organization wants. Most people are getting their news off of social media. Granted, they're just reading the headlines, 70% of them. But so news outlets want to be featured. And so what the Trudeau government is saying, oh, no, you have to pay for that. You're capitalizing and you should be paying. So Meta has said, I'll just read. We have repeatedly shared that to comply with Bill C-18, We have repeatedly shared that to comply with Bill C-18 passed today in Parliament, content from news outlets, including news publishers and broadcasters, will no longer be available to people accessing our platforms in Canada. So it basically backfired there.
Yeah, and here's why people should care, Drea, even if they don't go on to Facebook or Instagram, what have you. Plan B for these media outlets, since they anticipated goodness knows how much revenue from the Silicon Valley tech giants, they're simply going to go, again, cap in hand, to the federal and, in some cases, such as Ontario, the provincial governments, and ask for more taxpayer money, because their business plan, let's face it, so much of the mainstream media, this is now a sunset industry, Drea. People ain't buying what they're selling. Advertisers, I can tell you 20 years ago, National Post, for example, a full page color ad, an advertiser would pay around $15,000. Today, maybe $2,000, right? It's completely devalued. And the reason is that the newspaper does not capture the same amount of eyeballs it did once upon a time. So instead of reinventing themselves, instead of what we do, keep it lean and mean, crowdfund, they are addicted to welfare.
Well, speaking of us and what we do we know yet what this means for Rebel News on Facebook? Because I know the Trudeau government, Trudeau himself, has deemed us not a real news organization. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. Are we aware of if we're being censored or not?
That's a good question. Our friend Yankee down in the free state of Florida is looking into that. So I don't have a clear answer. That's what came up in the morning meeting today. But we will soldier on. Pardon me?
I was probably half asleep. The meeting is very early for British Columbia, okay?
Oh, I know. It's the old line. By the time we're eating lunch in Toronto, you guys are just getting out of bed, right? I know you work harder than that, Dre, but we hope to get clarity of that. And speaking of us not being a real news agency, as Blackface claims, it's kind of funny how in 2019 and in 2021, the Federal Court of Canada deemed otherwise to get us into the parliamentary debates during those election years. Isn't it amazing how Blackface thinks he's above the law in terms of who he determines what is real media and what is not real media? And really it comes down to, Drea, who's on the government payroll, the media outlets that know their role. They won't ask too many insensitive questions. And I can tell you, folks, with all the bills being passed by this censorious government, this year is the fight of our lives.
It really is.
Yeah, Blackface has used the carrot for 99% plus of the media in terms of corporate welfare. And for the outliers, the independent media outlets such as Rebel News, now comes the stick, because just to have even a tiny, form of dissent is too ego-shattering for this dictator. That's right. I called him a dictator because that's what he is. He is shutting down the free press. So I'll watch with great amusement how the feds wrangle with the Silicon Valley tech giants, because typically, Drea, they march in lockstep when it comes to censorship, right? When it comes to don't give a contrary opinion to, say, the coronavirus. Don't give any fuel to the fire that the election was stolen. By that, I mean the 2020 U.S. election. If it's a 2016 U.S. election, oh, yeah, go chapter and verse on that one. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
That Hillary Clinton was screwed as opposed to Donald Trump. The hypocrisy is astounding.
It is. Now, you mentioned not being afraid to call, our dear fearless leader a dictator. I was actually really surprised. CTV put out an article a few days ago, and it was an opinion piece, but still the title referred to the Trudeau government as the Trudeau regime. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's taken them a while to accurately describe his reign. But anyways, that's just a bit of a side note. But I just wanted to go to leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre's tweet about what Meta's doing now. He says, there you have it. Step by step, the Trudeau government is deliberately getting in the way of what people can see and share online. And you better bet, my friends, I believe it would ramp up much more than what we're seeing now just before the election, around campaign time. There'll be such a grip on what people will be able to see and access. So make sure, if you haven't already, make sure you give us your email, because if we're unfindable, that's going to be the only way we're going to be able to get a hold of you. I think if you go to rebelnews.com and you haven't given us your email before, you'll be prompted to do so. So it's very important.
That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.